It's probably a good time to note that every brilliant idea I've had, you've said, oh no, that's horrible. You can rent this home for the next 200 years and you'll never get that back.
Great idea, by the way.
What,
really smart.
Letting the executive producer be a producer?
Brilliant
I
idea.
don't know, every now and again.
How did Chronicles come about?
Hello, I'm Tom New, President and CEO of WQLN PBS NPR.
Hi, I'm Mike Berlin. I'm the executive producer of WQLN's Chronicles. And today, here on this session of IQ, we're talking about our show, WQLN's original series, Chronicles. So Tom, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. And I'm very excited about this program. I think it's one of the biggest things, if not the biggest thing, WQLN has done in its broadcast history.
That's a tall order.
It is. It's very tall.
And you've been here for a minute, so you would know.
Yeah, just about a minute.
So before the Genesis, before all the production got started, how did Chronicles come about?
Back in 1976, WQLN was on the air for just about 9 years, and we did our first major production. And the program was called Eerie. It was a history of Eerie in the region. And it's an incredible film. We have it available on our website, and I encourage anyone to watch it. You know, that was followed by a number of other films. We've Met the Enemy, The Golden Age of Illustration. We did a film on Presque Isle. But the thing with those films is we would do one, a couple of years would go by, we'd do another one, a couple of years would go by, and then we would do another one. And you would always want more.
At what point did you realize it's like, hey, this is the time, and we should do this?
I think it was in 2006, we came up with this idea to create content for the website, do these very short films about people in Erie. We also saw it as a way of bringing together local nonprofits and other leaders in the community to talk about who we should be talking about on these short films. So we created a thing called the Eerie Hall of Fame. There was a group of people. I know that Marlene Moscow was on that board, John Vanko was on that board, there were some other historians that were on that board, and they voted to pick who should be the first 5 people in the Eerie Hall of Fame. And we had a concert on the Bayfront, we had an induction series, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. We were able to continue that for about 5 years. And then, you know, it's not that we ran out of people, but we just ran out of single topics, persons that would fit what the Hall of Fame was. You know, but I think that during that process, that's where the Genesis of Chronicles came from, to do a lot of films all at one time so that people could learn a lot about the community, you know, over a period of weeks instead of over a period of years.
In. There we go. And the picture will take poof.
Originally, you were going to call it Eerie Chronicles.
Right.
Which
right.
I think
and the program was going to be completely different than what we have right now.
Right.
You know, because when we were fundraising for the program, I would describe a program, but at the end of that description, I would always say the executive producer would be able to do the program the way that person feels best way to do the program.
Great idea, by the way. Really smart.
Letting the executive producer be a producer.
Brilliant
I don't know. Every now and again it works.
When you're done with this, if you wouldn't mind taking the bags up for room 34, that would be great.
No tip.
So for anybody who hasn't seen the show yet, you can click at the top of the screen, and we have a lot of highlights from season 1. And yeah, go enjoy, check it out, and you can see what Tom and I are talking about right now. So real quick, how do you see Chronicles fitting into all of this?
Chronicle fulfills a need that I don't think that we've ever truly achieved in local broadcasting. Any producer in town, whether they're at our commercial colleague stations or here at WQLN, when you produce in Erie, Pennsylvania, and PBS is on next, there is this jarring difference. You don't get that with Chronicles. It's both immersive, it's cinematographic, it fits in with what the network is doing.
Another thing that, if I'm remembering correctly, that you had originally talked about with Chronicles was that you actually wanted to do it there was this talk about the show actually being done in historical order.
A history program made sense. Number one, we had been doing history programs throughout the history of the station. There's a general need and interest there, and we could tie in a lot of our educational activities with the program, and it just made a lot of sense to follow that route. But there was some sort of an idea of putting history on a timeline. That if you can imagine one season, we're reliving the 19th century here in Erie, Pennsylvania. I think that out of order almost makes a little bit more sense, because if you look at this season, somebody can watch a program on hockey that may have no interest in history, but all of a sudden they're thinking, you know what, maybe I do have an interest in history. Somebody else may look at a program that's very deep in history, like Rum Runners, and say, there might be some more things here. So that's why I think that jumping around, from either different time periods or certainly different topics makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, and a little bit behind, inside baseball, I always thought by doing the Anthology Series and sort of jumping around that way, you would cast a wider net.
It's probably a good time to note that every brilliant idea I've had, you've said, "Oh no, that's horrible." That's a horrible idea.
No, I don't think that's always been the case.
Well, no, but I think that's why WQLN works, because we've got this great back and forth.
Right. Yeah, and it has been an incredibly welcoming and open environment. It's absolutely the best collaborative space I think I've ever worked in professionally.
Yeah, thank you. I'm proud of that. If there's one thing that I'm most proud of, it's probably the culture here at WQLN.
With the evolution of television and going to digital and stuff like that, how do you see Chronicles fitting into all of this?
Well, the core of Chronicles is this idea of hyperlocal, telling your story, whether it's Erie County's story, the city of Erie, or the Lake Erie region's story. And hyperlocal is the thing that's going to differentiate the successful stations from the stations that aren't very successful. And the idea of no longer broadcasting to a big audience, but single casting to individuals that will select these things. Local programs are going to be everything.
That's wild. Okay.
Yeah. Now, I can tell you that there are stations that absolutely disagree with me, that they say a project like Chronicles or this concept of hyperlocal is not the way to go. The way to go is to completely cut staff and become a pass-through station. But once you're a pass-through station, you're just another screen on the cable universe.
Got it. Yeah, absolutely. Has there been a favorite episode for you so far?
Not a favorite episode so much as there's been a part of every episode that I really enjoy. I mean, when I talk about The Visit, that opening scene, it reminds me of the opening of That Thing You Do. The argument that you made in Rum Runners, right? The argument that there was this golden age of Erie crime, and then the things that ruined it were the Peace Bridge and the Buffalo Mob. I mean, I just love that little piece. There was a piece on the district where they were, one of the engineers was talking about what it costs to restore one of these homes. And then just off the cuff, he says, you can rent this home for the next 200 years and you'll never get that back. But, the argument of the need for restoring these homes was in there, and it was very valuable. There's one coming up in Lake Erie Arkin where they say that Lake Erie never gets older than 3 years. Right. I'll let you find that one.
Yeah.
I disagree with that, but I've been quoting it a lot lately.
So, Tom, where can we catch Chronicles?
Well, typically we air on Thursday nights at 8 o'clock, and then it's repeated again on Sunday. And then on the World Channel, it is on a lot. I mean, you can't turn on World without seeing an episode of it. But really, that's not the way we watch TV right now. We watch what we want to watch when we want to watch it. So if you have a smart TV, if you have a Roku, if you have a Amazon Fire Stick for your television, you can navigate to the PBS program app. It's called Passport. We keep Chronicles in front of the paywall so you can watch it for free. And we hope at some point as episodes go behind that paywall, you'll to watch more of them and maybe become a member of WQLN.
I'll watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So that'll be fun. Well, hey, thank you guys for joining us today on IQ here at WQLN. Make sure you check out Chronicles on Passport and on Thursdays and Sundays. And we'll see you next time.